Monday Night Football will be a division game with a lot on the line in NFL Week 7 as things ramp up with more intensity. The Washington Redskins visit the Philadelphia Eagles this week in primetime. A win would push the Eagles out to 6-1 and a 2.5-game lead in the NFC East. A win for the Redskins would put them at 4-2, a half game behind the Eagles, and they'd be able to keep pace in the wild card picture. Thus far, the Redskins have been the preferred side in the betting market, with the line favoring the Eagles by 5 points. The Washington Redskins won but failed to cover coming out of the bye week as a double-digit favorite against the 49ers. Stunningly, that marked the first time that the Redskins were favored this season. They were a short underdog in Week 1 at home to Philadelphia and lost 30-17. The Redskins are 3-2 straight up and 2-3 against the number. These are two fresh teams in this matchup. The Redskins came off the bye to play San Francisco last week, and the Eagles are on extra rest after playing on Thursday Night Football against the Panthers. The Redskins are plus 0.7 yards per play this season and have had one of the league's top offenses on a per-play basis. The Redskins have managed 5.9 yards per play this season, which ranks 6th, one spot ahead of the Eagles, who have 5.7 yards per play. Kirk Cousins has completed 66.5% of his passes with a 9-2 touchdown interception ratio. A lot of throws have been of the safer variety without Deshaun Jackson and Pierre Garcon. But the offense has not really tailed off despite the losses of those two and former offensive coordinator Sean McVay. The Redskins have two good pass catchers at tight end and face an Eagles defense that is better at covering the sidelines than the middle of the field. Unfortunately, the Redskins are dealing with some huge injuries in the secondary. D'Angelo Hall is already out with a torn ACL and has been out for the season so far. Des Hazer Everett, Bashaud Breeland, and Josh Norman are all questionable this week. Everett was out last week, Breeland left with an MCL injury, and Norman a fractured rib. Carson Wentz has looked really solid running the Eagles' offense, so this is a big deal in this game. Bashaud Breeland is tied for the team lead in pass breakups. Kendall Fuller and Quentin Dunbar have played well, but depth could be a huge issue for the Redskins, even with the extra day to get everybody on the field. The Redskins defense has limited the opposition to 5.2 yards per play. In Week 1 against the Eagles, Washington only allowed 264 yards of offense. The Redskins outgained the Eagles 356-264, but lost the turnover battle 4-2 and eventually lost the game. The Philadelphia Eagles are 5-1 straight up and 4-2 against the number, with 3 straight wins and covers. The Eagles covered road tilts against the Chargers and Panthers, along with a blowout win over Arizona at home. The Eagles' offense has been pretty solid this season. Carson Wentz looks comfortable in year 2 under Frank Reich and Doug Peterson. He has completed nearly 61% of his passes with a 13-3 touchdown interception ratio. His feet are calmer in the pocket, and his ability to survey the field has really improved. We saw the game speed up on Wentz last season a lot. That has not been the case this season. It helps that the Eagles have found some more offensive balance with 207 pass attempts and 182 rushing attempts. Last season, Wentz threw the most passes in the entire NFL, and he was gassed halfway through the year. Alshon Jeffrey is still trying to get acclimated to this offense with 24 catches on 48 targets, but Zach Ertz and Nelson Agholor have been familiar sets of hands for Wentz. The Eagles also have 4.4 yards per carry on the year. LeGarrette Blount has been a very nice addition between the tackles to offset Philadelphia's collection of scat backs like Wendell Smallwood and Darren Sproles. Sproles, of course, is hurt, but Smallwood has filled that role admirably. The growing concern for the Eagles is the pass defense. Philadelphia has done a good job of stopping the run with just 3.8 yards per carry allowed, but the pass defense has allowed the third most yards in the NFL. Context is important here in that Philadelphia has faced the most passing attempts. The Eagles have only allowed 11 yards per catch, which rates about middle of the pack. Only 4 teams have forced more turnovers than the Eagles. This defense may have been a little bit overblown in the lead up to the season, but it has done a pretty good job overall. The question here is how long can the Eagles continue to have success against the pass with a bevy of dropbacks from the opposition each week? The Redskins are plus 0.7 yards per play on the season, and the Eagles are plus 0.2, Generally, that's a pretty good barometer of current and future success. The Redskins are probably underachieving a little bit given the yards per play disparity, and the Eagles may be overachieving. They've faced a lot of pass attempts, and it's obviously easier to move the ball in chunks through the air. But this is another team that will throw a lot, and the Eagles could be exposed in one of these games sooner rather than later. Our pick and prediction is for the Washington Redskins at +5. For our pick and prediction on this game and every other game this week, and a wealth of free stats and information, check out bangthebook.com.